Welcome to Lesson 3 in Unit 17, Structure, Function, and Survival. In this lesson, students will use cards, videos, and readings to explore internal structures of organisms. Students should figure out that internal structures of animals and plants include bones, lungs, heart, blood vessels, and tubing systems that carry water and sugar. They will see that the structures vary from organism to organism, and this can help us classify living things. Each type of living thing has internal structures adapted to its particular environment. This lesson is approximately 3 days. In the Engage portion of this lesson, students will revisit the plastic animals from Lesson 2. This time, each student will try to describe some of the structures that they think are inside their animals. Take the opportunity for students to do a quick turn and talk. In the Explore portion of this lesson, students will work in groups to match the external structure picture to the internal picture of animals from a set of skeleton cards. They will look at examples of skeletons of different animals to discuss the similarities and differences, as well as think about how an animal's skeleton can support its survival. Students can work together to answer the first 2 questions on the animal skeleton's sheet. The third question will be addressed later. In the Explain portion of this lesson, a read aloud will show specific examples of the internal structures of the human body. Teachers will only read selected passages of the book DK Human Body, so be sure to check the accompanying read aloud guide in the teacher pages ahead of time. We have selected a few key examples of internal structures, but you could read more if you have time. The other systems in this book, particularly the pages about the brain and the 5 senses, will be referred to in Lesson 5. After reading about the skeletal system in particular, have students pause and write their answer to the third question in their animal skeleton sheet. At this point, students should be able to point out that skeletons protect soft organs, hold us up, aid in movement, and produce new blood. In the Elaborate portion of this lesson, students will watch the Animal Classes DVD. Note that if you do not have a DVD player, you can obtain the video through the link provided in the curriculum or by clicking the same slide image shown here. While viewing, students can record 4 examples of internal or external structures they see or hear about during the video on their Animal Classes sheet. You may want to pause the video after a structure is listed so that students have time to process and write. Students may work in partners to discuss what they record. Since this is a longer video, you may want to consider how to pace this lesson to avoid having to split this video viewing between 2 days. After the video, have students share out to make a list on chart paper to compile all of the internal and external structure examples found in the video. Probe for understanding by asking students to share out 1 example from the video that helps an organism survive in a particular kind of environment. Allow students to think, pair, share. In the Evaluate portion of this lesson, students will demonstrate their ability to notice skeletal similarities and differences between 2 animals. Students will complete Comparing Skeleton Structure and Function sheet. Have students answer the questions to compare the human skeleton structure and function to that of a giraffe. Students should come to the conclusion that although skeletons have similarities, each species' skeleton is adapted to a particular environment and activities that help the species survive in that environment. To close out this lesson, refer back to the anchoring phenomenon of this unit, the news anchor reacting to the bug. Students may respond that the news anchor was able to move away from the bug by using his muscles and bones, which are internal structures. In this lesson, students used cards, videos, and a read aloud to explore internal structures of organisms. Students should have figured out that internal structures of animals and plants include bones, lungs, heart, blood vessels, and tubing systems that carry water and sugar. The structures vary from organism to organism, and this can help us classify living things. Each type of living thing has internal structures adapted to its particular environment. This lesson, coupled with Lesson 2, will support students in Lesson 4 and 5, where they will consider what causes an animal to behave a certain way and how external and internal structures work together as a system of parts that help an organism survive, grow, and reproduce.